Peter Zalmayev is director of the Eurasian Democracy Institute. He is with us this hour from Kyiv. It's good to see you. It's been a while.
It's been a while indeed.
So when you first heard the news that the President of the United States, against the advice of the Pentagon, the Secret Service, was actually in Kyiv meeting with President Zelensky, all this is a demonstration of unwavering support for Ukraine, what was your first reaction? And now it's been a few hours. What are your thoughts on it right now?
Well, my first reaction, actually, I had a reaction before that as I was making my way by train from the Munich Security Conference. And in fact, our train had to stop to let President Biden's train pass us. And then we were detained at the train station waiting for the roadblocks to be removed. We did not know, obviously, that it was Biden. I had sort of a suspicion it may have been him, but I just didn't think we would be in so much luck. This obviously is a very, very uplifting moment for Ukrainians. This is reminiscent of Kennedy's visit to Berlin. It's reassuring not only just for Ukrainians, it's reassuring to all of Ukraine's Western allies, and it's sort of a way for Biden to send the message that America is here to stay, to see this through. This is a fight not just for Ukraine. This is a fight for values. This is a fight for democracy. And this is indeed what it's shaping up to be, as China is now, we hear, considering helping Russia much more actively. So this is a very critical moment, especially now that we are staring down this well of a war of attrition. If that is the case, then obviously this is a message to Ukraine's Western powers to ramp up significantly its production of weaponry to allow Ukraine to stage a counteroffensive as soon as possible and to win back as much of its territory as possible.
Over the last 12 months, you've been a pretty regular guest here on CNN, and we are grateful for that. I want you to listen to part of our conversation from April when I was in Lviv in Ukraine. Here's part of it. We're at the point now where we're sort of entering what appears to be almost like a war of attrition, if you like. Does it sort of come down to both sides now inflicting as much pain as possible on the other side?
I mean, it's it looks like it. Vladimir Putin is not about to be dissuaded from leaving Ukraine. We know that.
So there's no talk of this diplomatic golf raps these days, and it seems this has become a battle of attrition. You just said it then. So with neither Ukraine or Russia able to inflict a decisive victory at this point, how long can this continue as is?
This will continue as long as Vladimir Putin, considers that this is his only way to cling to power by sort of, continuing this absolutely senseless war. I think his calculation remains that should this stop at this point, or, this would mean a significant, problems for him at home. So this is a war really for Vladimir Putin's survival, which he has been trying to convince the Russians that it is a war of survival of Russia, which is obvious nonsense to all of us. So expect to hear this from his speech today. He may have rewritten it in light of Biden's kind of upstaging him in Kiev, because you remember, early in the war, it was Vladimir Putin who was hoping to walk down, the streets of central Kiev. Instead, it was Biden. What a slap on Vladimir Putin's face, obviously. But by all accounts, we see that Vladimir Putin, has not been dissuaded from this war. Just like as I said in this clip that you showed, this remains his goal, his maximalist goal, to destroy Ukraine if he cannot control it. And, by his visit, Biden has further involved America and its legitimacy, its credibility with the fate of Ukraine, which is now the foremost fighting for Western civilization.
To the Ukrainian President Zelensky 2 days before the Russian invasion. A very young-looking President Zelensky. Here he is.
We understand that there will be no war. There will not be an all-out war against Ukraine, and there will not be an escalation, a broad escalation from Russia. If there is, then we will put Ukraine on a war footing.
At that point, Zelensky was staring down the Russians and he was just trying to hold the country together. And the predictions of doom which followed have all been well documented. So too the incredible, against all odds victories by Ukraine. When you look back at the past year, do you think about those David and Goliath battles and the fact that Ukraine has won them and that you are still there and you are still fighting? Or is there a sense of loss for the lives cut short, for the families torn apart, for towns and cities laid waste? How do you deal with the last 12 months?
I mean, I cannot begin to unpack in this short interview the sort of complex, feelings, this bag of emotions and feelings that go through one's mind. Well, first of all, I'm still sitting in the same room in my apartment from where I was giving interviews to you. So this is the overarching kind of feeling that we have withstood this test of time, this incredible trial and tribulation. Ukraine still stands. This is what President Biden could not keep repeating. And he said he found it astounding, just like his generals found it astounding that Ukraine lasted more than a week. It just shows how many actors were wrong when this war started. We're still here, and it's an incredibly uplifting moment. It feels like the worst is yet to come. We have overcome this fear of the world's second greatest army, of the Russian bear, but paradoxically, the worst may yet to come, as once again, we may be entering this phase of attrition, more destruction to come. But you know what? I'm not seeing signs in Ukraine of capitulation, of wanting to sit down at a table with the Russians prematurely. We still have ways to go before we can confidently enter into any negotiations.
Peter, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. Please stay safe, and we hope to talk to you again soon. Thank you. Cheers.